I kind of feel like these NBA players are hurting themselves and the product with the I want to be traded, I want out thing. There's a myriad of things to it. The first thing is most football executives will tell you that they quietly snicker and smile when the NBA superstars move all around. They will all tell you this. Now, look, we've had Tom Brady go from New England to Tampa. We've had Le'Veon Bell sit out for a year and force his way to the Jets. Stephon Diggs wanted to be traded. He was sent to Buffalo. Randy Moss, I'll play when I want to play. He was sent to New England. Like, we've had star players, superstar players. Eli Manning, before he was ever drafted, I don't want to play for the Chargers. He plays for the Giants. So it's not like it doesn't happen in the NFL, but the amount of movement is just, it's crazy. No one truly protects the sport. And the sport is suffering. Now, look, what happens is we all go, well, the NFL, right? Like the Masters ratings were the lowest they have been in modern history. They were awful on Sunday. And you can tell me that, well, Tiger wasn't involved. Okay. He actually was decent. He was playing until he had the 10. He had the 10 on, was it 13? No, it's on 12. Excuse me, 10 on 12, which was amazing. It was 10 cup, give me another ball. Right? I mean, short rolls in the water. He goes long, and then he tries to get out of a bunker and into the water. And you're just like, that's exactly what I would look like. That's exactly what I look like. So I think that this is, and the NBA is hurting itself. And when we say that football is king, it's not just because, well, football's on Sunday and we like betting on football. And why is it king? Because we know that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Packers. Now, I understand that they drafted a quarterback and maybe in 2 years ago that stops. But for the last decade, he's been the guy. And for the previous 2 decades, it was Brett Favre, it seemed like. Or previous decade, it was Brett Favre. When you turn it on, you see the Packers, you know Favre, you know Aaron Rodgers. For, what was it? How many years? Was it 18 years that we turned it on and we saw Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform? We knew that. Yes, Phillip Rivers switched teams from the Chargers to the Colts. But for the previous decade, you turn on the Chargers, it was Phillip Rivers. Peyton Manning in Indy, and then, of course, he got hurt. And then it was Andrew Luck in Indy. He got hurt a bunch of times, snowboarding accident. And then Peyton was in Denver. It's not that, it's like the basketball mentality of, I don't like it here, get me out of here, is so different than the football mentality of, we're not good, we got to figure out a way to get better. Right? Like, I think that Americans, and maybe it's just like a poll question or you take phone calls, you just, you ask people, which is it about the NBA or the NFL that draws you more to it? And I'm not stupid to not understand that gambling is and fantasy football is a huge part of it. It's just easier. Scarcity of games, okay? The quality of the TV stuff is amazing. Amazing. Do the NBA players understand that, like, most of America would love to switch jobs, okay? But the reality of it is they're tied. There's an allegiance to their team, to their city. And while your AAU mentality is things aren't good here, let me go and join a team with a bunch of my buddies and get there. That's really hard for fans. Really hard. And if it wasn't, why aren't the numbers better? And why are the numbers better for the NFL? Every other sport is getting decimated. And they all say, don't go against the NFL because the NFL will crush you. And they're right. They're right. But why will the NFL crush you? because the NFL has figured out that, man, you got to hold on to those franchise players. Even the NFLPA and NFL players decrying the franchise tags. You dopes, it's there for a reason, to save your sport from what the NBA is doing. And I know that the NBA has done this in the past. I know that Kareem forced his way out of Milwaukee. I know that Wilt forced his way out of Philadelphia. I understand. Kobe, once upon a time, asked to be traded for the LA Lakers, but they didn't. Okay? When the NBA was king, Magic was with the Lakers, Bird was with the Celtics, Jordan was with the Bulls, Ewing was with the Knicks. Correct? Because when you turned on a Knicks-Bulls game on Christmas Day, do you know what you knew you were going to see? Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan. Patrick Ewing sweating uncomfortably. How much did that man sweat? Like, he used to sweat. Like, there used to be like water just pouring off him. Like, God, he sweats a lot. And Michael Jordan chewing his gum, tongue out, right? Right. This is, you have to think of your sport like a TV show. And I know they replaced the mom on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I know they changed out Shelley Long for Kirstie Alley on Cheers. But I mean, think if Ted Danson or Woody was off of Cheers. Right? Think about that. You wouldn't do it. You don't watch shows when they change main characters. Remember back when Different Strokes was big? What you talking about, Willis? Right? Imagine if that family died, but the people changed. Right? It just doesn't work that way. Think of whatever, like Joey and Friends. None of the main characters of Friends, they never got jobs that they kept or never moved out. They somehow, even when they were together, they somehow lived in apartments right across from each other. And then at the end, Ross had his own place, right? When that would happen, Ross had his own place. Ross and Rachel. But there wasn't a new Rachel every season. Yeah, they were on a break. Hey, we're on a break! But still, it was Ross and Rachel. Think of any Seinfeld. There's like, how many characters? Right? You got Kramer, you got Elaine, you got Jerry. Newman. Hello, Newman and George. Four main characters. Everything else, people would come in, people would come out. You had Newman, you had the mom, you had the dad, right? George's mom and dad. You had a couple of others. Because even now when you turn on Seinfeld, you know Kramer's going to enter all out of whack, right? The NBA is, I believe, their players are better than they've ever been. Incredibly skilled. It's an incredibly diverse group. Players from all over. I don't know if you saw this, but of the 60 players most likely to be drafted, there's like 7 of them or 11 of them or something have like from Nigeria. Like, it is a world sport. It is an amazing sport. But we want to turn on the TV and know James Harden, through thick and through thin, is a Houston Rocket. And Russell Westbrook wearing out his welcome, Chris Paul moving team to team to team. And I get it. I understand the contracts and age and trying to fix things and build championship rosters. But the main characters have to stay the same, and that's where the NBA is hurting themselves with these guys. Hey, we're not good enough. I don't like it. Trade me. The NFL mentality is, we're not good enough. Let's figure out how to fix it.